How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're just going to talk about the cards that we're going to submit to PSA. If you saw my previous video, we submitted 17 cards from my little bro for Pokemon vintage, very older Pokemon cards that he wanted to submit to PSA. This time around, I actually had time to look at cards that I've been compiling for at least a year now that I haven't been submitting to PSA just because the price point was a little too high and we didn't have the PSA Collectors Club. But now that we have the PSA Collectors Club, we have access to the bulk and economy price discounts. So we're going to submit these, I'd say 20-ish so cards, ranging from vintage all the way to some modern cards. But I'm super excited to get these cards graded. I'm not expecting any PSA 10s. In fact, some of these cards are notoriously damaged, and I'm submitting them because they are damaged, just to see if we can get like a low population hit and then get a kind of a premium for people who are looking to collect the rainbows of those cards. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to send to PSA in this next submission. Alright, and here's the cards that we're going to be submitting to PSA. Got quite a stack here. Start off with special delivery. This looks pretty well centered. This was sealed, so there shouldn't be any flaws on this. If anything is a candidate for a PSA 10, this would be it. As you can tell, there is a pretty decent size swirl there, so really hoping that this card comes back a 10. Got a legendary Charizard. This is a very damaged Charizard, as you guys can tell. It's actually got a bend right there. Lots over on the back. I'm not expecting a very high grade for this, but it is a Charizard nonetheless, and we're going to get it graded. Base set Charizard. This isn't first edition. This Charizard actually has a very big bend, as you guys can tell. It's pretty much along the back of the card. This is probably going to grade very, very low, and hopefully we can hit a pop that is very low, and we can charge a premium for a low graded Charizard. I have another Charizard that's base set unlimited. This is in better condition, although not in the greatest condition. No whitening too much in the back, but we do have some edge wear, as you guys can tell. Definitely see some of the hollow bleeding out around the edges, but nonetheless, Charizard once again. Shining Magikarp. This isn't first edition, but this is in pretty nice condition. These are very rare and hard to find in decent condition. It does have a little bit of whitening around the corners, but I am expecting a decent grade for this. Suicune Hollow, once again, decent condition. Not in first edition though, but overall, very clean card. Some first edition vintage cards here. We got a Pichu. This isn't in too bad of a condition. Let's say a little bit of edge around the top, but otherwise a decent looking card on the front. Got a Blaine's Moltres. This is non-first edition. Condition is pretty decent. Not too much edge wear on the sides, but otherwise looking very clean. Scyther first edition Jungle Hollow. This I believe has some edge wear. Very minimal around the edge, but otherwise looks like a clean card. Like I said, I'm not expecting 10s on any of these. I'm just hoping for decent grades. First edition Jungle Vileplume. This, as you can tell, has some edge wear, but the back looks pretty good. I'd say it's alright, not too bad. Although, one thing I am concerned about is this edge wear in the front, especially this little mark right here. But first edition Vileplume from Jungle. Some more first edition cards. These are from Fossil. Articuno. This is one of the cards that I've literally been holding for over a year. Didn't want to send it by itself, especially since we didn't have PSA Collectors Club access. But now that we do, we can grade this at a decent price. Dragonite first edition Hollow. This does have some edge wear, as you guys can tell, but Dragonites in first edition, and Dragonites in general, very high demand card I've noticed. So we're going to go ahead and get this graded. Continuing with Hollow first edition's Fossil. This is a Haunter. I would say a little bit of whitening around the edges, but otherwise clean card. Hypno Hollow. Not too much edge wear. And one of the last legendary birds, we've got a Moltres, first edition Hollow. Very minimal edge wear. This Dark Raichu first edition. This is in pretty good condition. A little bit of whitening around the edges, but definitely interested to see what we get on this. Got a hair across, first edition. This is pretty clean as well. Not too much whitening around the edges. Got an Alakazam from e-readers. This is a hollow. It does have a very deep crack, as you guys can tell right there. So I'm not expecting a very high grade at all. And there is lots of wear on the edges. Like Dragonite, this card is actually damaged, as you can tell from this edge right here. The edges, as well as right here, is a little hollow marking. Back is pretty clean though, not too much whitening. I'm expecting a very low grade for this, but like I said, Dragonites seem to move very well regardless of the grade. As long as they're slab, Dragonite is, being a dragon, very high in demand. Mewtwo, a base set unlimited. This is in pretty good condition, I'd say. Not too much whitening around the edges at all. And we got some vintage birthday Pikachu. These are not the classic from Celebrations. These are actually the originals. Pretty good. Have actually 3 of them. This is another card that I've been holding on for a while. Was unsure if I wanted to get the graded or not, especially with the Celebrations release. But given the fact that they are vintage, I've gone ahead and decided to get these graded. Last couple cards. Dark Arbok from Rocket. Non-first edition, but still in decent condition. Not much whitening around the edges. Follow it up with a Dark Machamp. Non-first edition. Big scroll up front. Conditioning is pretty good. Not too much whitening. I think there's like a white speck right there. And then lastly, this Japanese Nita full art. Full art waifus are really hot right now. This seems like a good candidate for a possibly high grade, so we'll find out. But that's everything we're submitting to PSA. I'd say it's around 28 cards. We'll see how long it takes to get back to us from PSA. We are based in California, so hopefully shipping time won't be as long. But thanks guys for watching the video as always. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see all of you in the next video.